Mortgage rates maybe hit a peak this week, and we started to see cracks in the robust buyer activity we've been seeing over the past month and a half in the Portland metro real estate market. All that, and there was another cut by the Fed. Let's take a look at the very latest stats and trends. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I would truly appreciate it if you give this video a like or even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've had thoughts of selling your home sometime in the near future, or if you're simply taking stock of your home equity, feel free to reach out to me at any time for a thorough and free market analysis of your home's value. I'm more than happy to oblige. Now on with the show. Average sale prices have been pretty modest in recent weeks. They've definitely been trending down from week to week, which is kind of a normal market dynamic for this time of year. Comparing average sale price this year to roughly the same time period last year, we landed up only about 2% higher, which is pretty modest compared to that roughly 3.5% gain that we saw in October, so not a great start to November. The supply of homes available for buyers to purchase on the active market is down. It's the same case with the number of homes that hit the for sale market this last week, which was down about 24% compared to last year at this time. Price reductions are also down this week after several weeks of pretty hot numbers. In fact, we saw about a 20% reduction in the numbers of price reductions compared to the previous week. So we'll have to watch that number and see if this dynamic holds. Along with everything else, buyer demand also looks to be cooling. The number of purchase agreements agreed to by buyers and sellers this past week was only up by about 6% compared to 2023. That, however, is coming off about 5 weeks of really strong buyer demand where we're seeing 25%, 30%, and even as much as 40% more purchase contracts compared to last year. I guess it shouldn't be too much of a surprise to see demand waning in the face of much higher mortgage rates than we had several weeks ago. Speaking of mortgage rates, rates continued to rise coming off of the previous week, but it looks like they may have hit a peak at 6.875% for the 30-year fixed mortgage, best case scenario. That was earlier this week. By Friday morning, though, the 30-year fixed was down about a quarter of a point to 6.625%. That's still a big jump from what we were seeing in September when rates dipped into the mid to high 5% range. On the other hand, last year at this time, the Freddie Mac Mortgage Market Survey showed an average rate of 7.5% for the 30-year fix. So that's considerably higher than what we have right now. So the big question, as always, is what's around the corner for Portland real estate? Well, the yield on the 10-year Treasury started to recede on Wednesday, and we saw mortgage rates follow suit. It's continuing to fall, so we may see some more moderation in mortgage rates as we head into next week. The Fed did finish up their November meeting on Thursday with a quarter-point reduction in their Fed funds rate, and the markets are still anticipating another quarter-point rate reduction in the Fed's December meeting as well. I suspect that buyer demand will continue to moderate, but will still outpace what we were seeing last year at this time, and inventory is likely to continue to fall. That being said, definitely check in next week for the latest in stats and trends in the Portland metro real estate. I look forward to seeing you then.